Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. So we still have about 2 minutes before we get started. I'm not going to be using any kind of music today. It's going to be a little bit slower paced yoga. So for those of you that are more maybe intermediate or advanced and you're expecting something to be a little bit more faster or go, feel free to stick around as long as you'd like. And then you could either do your own practice or check out one of the other videos, okay? But there is benefit in really slowing down and finding that balance between the yin-yang energies within the body, okay? So when we do get into those longer holds, really focus on lengthening the inhale and the exhalations. And remember, it is technology, so at any point in time, it seems like it's lagging a little bit. Press pause on your end, maybe give it about 2 or 3 minutes, focus on your meditation, focus on relaxing, and then just press play and then come right back into the class, okay? So I'm not gonna be using music today, like I said. You can be using something a little bit more downbeat, but yeah, we'll get started. So you're gonna be somewhere on your mat. You could either be in a kneeling position or a comfortable seated. If you choose to get into your toes like I am, you can actually tuck your toes under, just making sure the pinky toe is tucked under as well. Pay attention to that lumbar spine, that it's not overly curved. You're tucking the tailbone, you're slightly pulling the belly in. Roll the shoulders down and back, maintaining a nice tall posture. And then just allow the palms to rest on your thighs and closing the eyes. So we're just using a couple of minutes here to just tune in by simply focusing in and around your breath. For the sake of the practice today, just continue to breathe in and out of the nose. And each passing breath, doing your very best to just lengthen both inhale and exhale a tad bit longer. So really allowing that heart rate to slow down, the temperature of your skin to reach normal. And that monkey mind to start to slowly become more and more clear. And through regular practice, it will become more so clear of thought. And instead, what gets replaced is pure presence and energy. As you continue to breathe in and out of the nose, just start to find length in through your spine by feeling the top of the crown of the head reaching skyward by an inch, relaxing your shoulders just below, softening through your belly, and then trying to relax your glutes and your thighs. The tip of the tongue should be rested at the palate of the mouth as you continue to breathe in and out of the nose. Taking 3 more breaths. And gently begin to blink the eyes open, planting those palms onto the mat in front of you, coming into a tabletop. Palms are right underneath the shoulder blades, knees are underneath the hips, and just start by swaying the hips from side to side. Moving your shoulders as well, really finding that tight squeeze in through the side obliques. And just like a puppy dog, try to see if you could find a tail. And imagination isn't required here, unless you have a tail. Take about 2 more from side to side, and then coming into your classic cat-cows. So rolling the shoulder blades back on an inhale, head tailbone lift, and then exhale, rounding out, really pushing the air out of the body, and then continue into those cat-cows. Finding that undulation in the spine. If a certain angle feels really good, remember that teachers or I should say instructors, we're more or less guiding you. Remember, you guys are the main teachers on your mat. You know your body best. So maybe even hold one of those angles, taking deep, deep breaths to try to release any kind of scar buildup or any kind of tension. Good. On your next exhale, find a neutral spine. Walk the kneecaps together. Walk the big toes together. Come to sit back on the heels only momentarily. You're going to reach the right palm just to the side of your mat, and you're going to reach the left arm overhead. Be mindful that you're not rotating too far forward. If you're maybe up against the wall, that's great. And then tuck your tailbone. Continue to reach with that left arm up and over. Take about 2 more breaths. Maybe go just a bit deeper into your set. Remember, really focus on lengthening, both inhale and exhale. Perfect. Bring yourself back up to center. Shoulder rolls for 2. Forward and up, inhale. Back and down out of the mouth. Switching sides. Left palm center. Right arm overhead. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the chest. And then exhale, coming into that deep side stretch. Rolling that right shoulder blade back. Continue to breathe right into the front of your chest palate. If it's uncomfortable for the neck, keep your head facing the same direction as the heart. Otherwise, tip of the nose toward the right bicep. Okay, 1 more breath here. Bring yourself up to center and then just 1 shoulder shrug. Shoulders up to the ears, inhale. Out of the mouth, exhale. Good, coming forward momentarily, tabletop. And then right leg deep runner's lunge. Stepping that foot forward, ensure you have that knee to heel alignment. Now, when you're bringing yourself upright, it's not about how deep you can go on this one today. You're keeping yourself more in an upright position. Again, that shin is parallel to the wall that you're looking at. And you're working on pulling that belly in, so you want to feel that opening right through the left side of your quadricep. So slight squeeze in through that left glute. Go an inch forward, but then hold it there, engaging in through Mula Bandh, and then just hold here for a few breaths. You should feel a lot of activity happening on the left side of the leg. Taking about 2 more breaths. And we're going to open up that right leg into a dragon pose. So you're going to take the palms back down to the ground, heel toe the right foot over and off toward the side of the mat. Angle your toe the same direction as the knee, and then we're going to start to bring our body forward. Okay, you could stay on your palms, maybe you lower down onto the elbows, but just ensure that shin stays parallel to the side of the wall to ensure that we're protecting the kneecap and the joint. Feel free to add on if you'd like, but we're here for about 20 seconds. If your body is feeling quite stiff today, come into a little bit of movement if that helps. So rocking your hips back, maybe straightening out through the right leg, and then exhale, rocking your body forward. Okay, you could do that the whole time, or you could do it just a few times and then come into your static position. We're here for about 3 more yogic breaths, nice and slow in and out of the nose. Finishing up this side with a twist, bringing yourself up onto your palms. Take your left palm, ground it down directly underneath the shoulder, and then open up the right arm up toward the ceiling, twisting from your midline. Feel free if you want to come into an active pose, tucking your left toe under and lifting up through the knee, and then just hold here for a few breaths, maybe a few pulses with that right arm to find a little bit more depth. Beautiful, coming into a high plank pose, planting the right palm down, reaching the right leg back, and then holding static here. You're only here for 10 seconds, so continue to press the heels back, set the scapula down, tuck the tailbone, and then engage your core. At any point in time, you could drop down onto the knees, but you're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, tabletop. Come into those puppy dog movements, so sway the shoulders and the hips from side to side. Try not to hold your breath. Make sure you're still breathing in and out of the nose. Let's change it up into your organic cat-cows. Taking about 3 more full cycles. Okay, moving into set 2, walk the kneecaps together to touch with the big toes, coming back to sit on the heels, a little bit faster this time. Plant the right palm, reach the left arm up and over, static, option 1. Option 2, come into a little bit of pulsing. Body up to center and switch. Left palm down, right arm overhead, static, or pulse through. Try to keep your chest palate lifted. Be mindful of how your posture is throughout your practice. Good. Slowly let it go. Tabletop as you come forward. And then getting into that left leg deep runner's lunge. Knee to heel alignment. Bring yourself upright. Engagement in through that lower bandha. Tucking your tailbone, lengthening. And you're simply holding a static position, but you're doing a lot of inner work by firing up through that right glute. An inch forward, hold it there, and then feel that area fire up through the right side leg. Try to breathe a little bit more into your chest here versus your stomach. Your core stays engaged to hold your posture in place. So a little bit more energy is needed as you're working against gravity here to lift up that breastbone palate. Okay, getting ready for your dragon pose, taking the palms down. Let's heel toe the left foot off of your mat, taking the toes to face the same direction as the knee. And then make sure that you have the alignment to protect the kneecap itself. You can come down onto the forearms, or if you did it before, come into some hip rocks, forward and back. You've got 20 seconds here. If you do come down onto the forearms, do your very best to equally distribute the weight between both elbows. So you might feel a little bit of core activity in order to hold your body more into a center line. Taking about 3 more yogic breaths. Good, finishing up in a twist. So bring yourself up onto the palms. Keep the right palm planted. If you choose to, come into an active set. Tuck the right toe under, lift up the knee, and then reach the left arm up if you haven't yet. Inhale, set those shoulders down, lifting up through the heart. Exhale, twist, twist, twist. You can hold your deepest set. You could pulse a few times. We've got about 2 more breaths here. Twisting is really good for that cleansing property in through your gut. High plank pose. Let's plant the palm down, stepping the left foot back 10 seconds. Get your position so crown of the head reaches forward, heels presses back. Tuck your tailbone, lifting up through your chest palate. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, tabletop. Puppy dog next, reaching those arms forward. Your goal is to try to keep the bum as high as it can be so the hip bones stay lifted. Maybe you could reach those arms a little bit more forward, chin can come onto the mat, or you could just be your forehead. If you'd like, it might feel good to take the palms to prayer just behind your head so you're really opening up through the tricep muscle. Holding in your deepest set for about 3 more breaths. Good job working our way back up, tabletop position, downward dog. We're here for a quick set. So walk your dog, shake out the head a little bit, palms remain shoulders width. Remember, your priority one is trying to get your back straight first. So really push the chest toward your thigh bones, opening up through the armpits. Your second priority is grounding down through the heels, okay? But if that's not there, don't force it. Take the eyes to look past your inner thighs, and let's take some good 5 quality breaths in and out of the nose. Good job. One more. Bending at the knees, look to where the palms are, listen up. You're going to step the right foot in the middle of the mat. So it's a short stance, like a warrior one position. If you need blocks, they're there. But we're coming into that pyramid position. You're lengthening your chest forward on an inhale. And then exhale, hinging from the hips, trying to zip up the upper body with the lower leg. Try to keep your shoulders square. If the heels were in line, see if you could take them about hips width still. And then that way you could pull the right hip back to find a little bit more space to hinge forward. Okay, taking about 2 more breaths, keeping the nose, trying to reach for the calf. Perch up onto the fingertips, flat back on an inhale. Hold it here for a couple of breaths. Taking your palms to the hips, pushing into the right leg, and then slowly bring yourself up toward a standing position. Inhale the arms up toward the ceiling. Exhale, palms to prayer in front of the heart. Pressing off of the left big toe, we're coming into an Upstanasana balance pose, lifting up through the back left leg. So let's keep an internal rotation through that left kneecap today, so it's facing the ground. Your arms can open up to the side. If you choose, you could hinge the upper body forward, coming into a full flying plane pose. You could even come into a balancing stick or warrior 3 if you choose. But again, you're pulling the lower belly in, trying to get that lower back parallel to the ceiling. You're here for 3, 2, big toes come to touch. Inhale, stand up, arms up, breathe in. Palms to prayer, exhale. Palms to the lower back, eyes to the ceiling. Lean back and press those hips forward. Taking 2 breaths, feel free to shake out the head a little bit. Good, and then slowly bring yourself into an upright position. Tiptoe yourself to the top of the mat and coming into an Utkatasana chair pose. Whatever way you want to get there, tucking the tailbone under, lifting up through the chest palate, and then go deeper into your chair, just creating a little bit of heat into your body. Find your length, find your depth. Good, taking 1 more breath in, forward fold, exhale. Palms to the shins, flat back, inhale. High plank pose, 5 breaths. Palms are right underneath the shoulders. If your vinyasa sets are too much, you can skip it. Come to your cat-cows or get into a down dog. But we're going to do 5 half sets back to back. Either from a high plank or knees, chest, chin, exhale to lower. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, down dog. Do that again. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, lower. Continue to cycle through. And then down dog, full set. Okay, 2 more rounds. Continue to flow with your breath. Take any kind of options, modifications that you need. Remember, as you do lower down, try not to let the belly touch. And you stop at that half point line so the triceps stay parallel to the ceiling. When you're done on that final breath, you're back into your down dog for 2 breaths. Keep all 10 of your fingertips firmly planted, pushing into the ground. If I were there, I shouldn't be able to lift up a finger. So really suction cup your palms to the mat. Good. Bend the knees, look to the middle of your mat. Step the left foot forward this time. Drop the back right heel down. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine, straighten out through the left leg. Try to pull the left hip bone back a bit. And then exhale, hinge from the hips. And then release the upper body, the neck. And then breathing right into the side of that IT band. Both sides of the body will be a little bit different. It's common for individuals that are right-handed for this side to be much, much tighter. So again, your body has its own way of finding its equilibrium, so don't force anything. Rather, just practicing patience here as we hold for just a few more breaths. Good. Perch up onto your fingertips. Inhale, flat back. Hold it here for a couple of breaths. Eyes are to the top of the mat. Pull the left hip bone back, engaging through your lower belly. Taking your palms to the hips, strong back, pushing firmly into the left leg, and bring yourself up to a standing position. Inhale the arms up toward the ceiling. Palms to prayer, exhale. Press off of the right big toe. Upstanasana, coming to balance on left foot. Internally rotate the right leg. Feel free to open up the arms to the side, and then depending on your body, where you're at, what you want to need, start to hinge the upper body forward to a point where you start to feel challenged. Try your best to keep the hips level and keep reaching your chest forward. You're here for 3, 2, big toes touch, stand up, arms up, inhale. Palms to prayer, exhale. Palms to the lower back, eyes to the ceiling. Inhale, pop the chest up, and then exhale, body back, hips forward. Shaking out your head a little bit here. Taking about 2 more breaths. And we're gonna add on, just like we did before, you're gonna tiptoe yourself up toward the top of the mat. Before your Utkatasana chair pose, you're gonna reach the arms up toward the ceiling first. Interlace the fingers, the opposite grip, crossing the fingers, letting go of index fingers, crossing your thumbs, and then just slowly start to sway from side to side. Feel free if you'd like to hold one side of the body a little bit longer. But again, just making sure that there's always some kind of breath movement with your body movement. Good, bring yourself up toward a center line. Utkatasana chair pose from here. Exhale. Hips come down, arms can always reach forward if it becomes too much. Relaxing through the neck and letting the shoulders fall back into socket. They're not hyperextending, they're not rising up toward the ears. Continue to kick the bum back, taking 2 more breaths. Find a little bit more depth if you can. Arms up to the ceiling, inhale, forward fold, exhale. Palms to the shins, flat back, inhale. 5 breaths, high plank pose. Now we're doing the same thing that we did before. You could either do knees, chest, chin, or you can skip it, come into cat-cows or down dog. You've got 5 vinyasas back to back. Exhale when you're ready to begin. Cycling through. If you've got lots of energy, if you're feeling a little bit more heat and aggression, feel free to speed it up. Maybe even double your sets. So try to do not 5, but 10. Good. Finishing up here with the last 1 or 2. Good. Down dog hold for a couple of breaths. Fix up your posture a little bit. Feet stay hips width. Really opening up through the armpit line here, pushing the chest palate back. And then your next count, slowly drop down onto the knees. Bring yourself up to stand on the knees. And then take your palms to the lower back. Coming into a camel pose. So we did 2 of these prior. Let's see if we can go a little bit deeper. So inhale, lifting up the head and chest. And then exhale, as your body goes back, your hips go forward. If you choose to, maybe you've done it before, you could reach for the heels. Tucking the toes under will be easier to reach for the heels. Intermediate students, your tops of the feet can always be grounded onto the mat. So we're going to do 2 sets. First set, we've got about 5 more breaths. If the palms stay at the lower back, that's more than enough today. You don't need to force anything else. Take 2 more quality breaths. Palms to the lower back, chin to the chest. When you're ready to come up, lower down onto the heels, and then plant those palms onto your thighs. While you're here, just shake out your head from side to side. And then nod your head up and down. If there's any tight spots, maybe try holding that particular position and stretch. Take a couple of deep breaths. Bring your head to neutral. 1 more. You're going to put your head a little bit more from like an angle, a diagonal. So 1 ear to one shoulder, the other ear to the other. We're coming into second set. When you're ready, lick the lips, swallow the saliva in the mouth, bring yourself up toward that kneeling position. Palms to your lower back, taking the eyes to look up toward the ceiling. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, start to push those hips forward and lean the upper body back. So anytime we're doing any kind of back bend, it's really good for the emotional body. You're opening up the majority of the gland centers energetically through the front, so it's very common to feel that nauseous, icky sensation, but that means that they are getting triggered. Finding your deepest position, whatever that may look like for you today, and find your final 3 breaths. Continue to slightly squeeze the lower glute plane, the front of the pelvic region, as you lengthen, lift, and then lean back, just to ensure that lower back doesn't get compressed. Taking 2 more deep chest breaths, really expand the rib cage. Make sure the palms come to the lower back first as you engage the core to bring yourself up. Again, 1 more time, lower down onto the heels. And now I want you guys to imagine the tip of the nose has a paintbrush on it. Right out in front of you is a canvas. With your paintbrush, with your nose, start to create a figure 8 going vertically. So up toward the ceiling, down toward the floor, creating a figure 8 with the tip of the nose. Do the very best that you can to switch directions. Might feel a little funny. Getting into those hard to reach areas within the vertebrae of the spine here. Taking 1 more, come to a center. And now you're going to take your vertical 8 horizontally. So you're going to take the tip of the nose from one side to the next. Closing the eyes can help if you need some support to visualize it. If that makes you a little bit nauseous or dizzy, make those figure 8s a little bit smaller. Okay, switch the direction. Finishing up here. Good. Come to a neutral position. Take a few breaths in through the nose. Out of the mouth. Good. Swish the legs out to the side, bring the sit bones onto the ground, and then reaching those legs forward. Position yourself so the sit bones are right in the middle of your mat. You're extending the right leg forward, pulling your left knee in toward the chest, like you're going for a nice hug. You can try holding here, and this is really good, especially if you've been having any kind of digestive issues. Or you're going to start to take the right arm around the outside of your left leg. Inhale, lifting up through the chest, and then exhale, twist. So your belly is coming up against your left inner thigh. Try to keep an upright position as best as you can. Shoulders over top of the hips. You're twisting through the spine. You're not leaning forward or back. Try to keep it mainly in the navel, in the belly. Taking 2 more breaths. Continue to twist here. Good. Counter it. Slowly release. Look past the right shoulder. So just latching the left inner elbow toward the left knee. And then slowly release. Open up the left leg out to the side. Pulse forward 2 to 3 times. And we're going to let that go by bringing the shoulders back on top of the hips. Plant the left palm behind you. And then reaching your hips up toward the ceiling, using your left shin as a kickstand in order to find a little bit more height through the side of the body. It feels really good as well to create circles with the right arm while you're here. One direction, the other direction, 2 more breaths. Make sure you're engaging through the core. You're moving slowly as you lower down. Walk the sit bones back and switching sides. Reaching your left leg forward, hug the right knee into the body. Option 1, just stay in a seated position with the right knee into the chest, if that's enough. Or option 2, right arm behind the back, setting up your seated spinal twist. Really holding on to that right leg, tightening that area through your belly, lifting up through your chest palate, shoulders down and back, and then exhale. Continue to work at the twist. Try to get that chin past the right shoulders. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist, twist, twist. 1 more breath. Find your counter twist. So taking that right elbow just around that right knee. Look the opposite direction for a few counts. And then as you come to a neutral, let's open up that right knee out to the side, pulsing the upper body forward 2 to 3 times. Getting ready to reach the right arm back behind you, planting it down underneath your shoulder, lifting up through the hips, squeezing your glutes a little bit. You can find a little bit more height this way. And then inhale, lifting up through your chest palate. Use the right shin to really hold the weight of your body. And the right palm is supporting your body in the position as well. Feel free to get into those circles with the left arm if you did before. Okay, about 2 more breaths here. Perfect. Chin to the chest. Slowly start to lower down onto the sit bones. Walk the hips back. Move the flesh out of the way. And then reaching the right leg forward. Inhale, lengthen out through the spine. Exhale, reaching the fingertips toward the toes. Holding. If you can't reach for the toes, you can always hold on to the thighs or the shins. But holding here for a few breaths. So similar to a staff pose, but we're just reaching those arms forward. Taking about 3 more breaths here. Okay, we're still going to do about 2 more postures on the back before we finish and conclude in our final Shavasana. So if you need a little bit of water, grab some water now, just a small sip. I'm going to bring the clock with me so I know how long we have. Lowering down onto the back when you're ready. You're going to be coming into a few bridges. So your feet are right underneath the kneecaps. Fingertips are reaching toward the heels. And just start by finding a tailbone rock. So you're going to inhale into your belly here. And then exhale, tuck the tailbone to take the lower back close toward the mat. And then inhale, release. Find that natural curvature through the lumbar. And then exhale, tuck the tailbone again. So do the spinal rock a few times. And on your next exhale, hold, and then start to lift the hips off of the mat by an inch, and vertebrae by vertebrae, the hips are reaching up toward the ceiling. Continue to reach the fingertips toward the heels. You can start to walk the shoulders and the palms down a little bit. So you tuck the shoulder scapula behind you, enabling you to just pop up your chest a little bit more. Really squeeze your glutes here. Be mindful that the knees don't flail out. They stay at hips width. Taking 2 more breaths. Keep squeezing your glutes. Keep lifting. And then exhale slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, butterfly as your hips lower down. Take the soles of the feet together. Open up the knees. Palms can be wherever they feel comfortable. If they're not somewhere on the trunk of your body, then they could be cactused above the head, and then just closing the eyes. You've got a recovery here for about 10 breaths before a second set. During the second set, feel free to come up into a full wheel if you'd like today. Let's reach the palms down toward the sides of your thighs, bring the knees together, plant the feet hips width, tuck the tailbone. Inhale, slowly start to reach the hips up toward the ceiling, rock the weight toward the back 2 shoulders in the middle of your head, and then slowly inch the shoulders closer down the back. Option 1 is to stay here for a few breaths. Maybe even interlace the fingers behind the back. Option 2 is taking those palms just behind your shoulders, fingertips are facing the heels, shifting the weight into your palms, and then pushing the body up, coming to balance on palms and feet. Taking some nice deep body breaths wherever you are for about 2 more counts. When you're ready to come down, chin toward the chest. If you did come to full wheel, and then slowly lower down the hips, same counter. So soles of the feet come together. Allow the knees to open out toward the sides, and then planting those palms wherever they feel more comfortable. You've got about 5 more slow body breaths. Take this time to scan the body from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes. If there's any final movements or postures that you may need, bring those palms to the sides of your thighs, knees back together, and you can start to explore those postures, whatever it is. It could be something as simple as hugging the knees into the chest. Maybe you want to finish up with a laying down spinal twist. A candlestick, so a shoulder stand and another inversion. But basically preparing your body, so releasing any kind of agitation before you release your body into final Shavasana. Closing the eyes, allow those forearms and palms to face up, taking advantage of the space with your limbs. We're here for a few minutes. You can always cover yourself up with a blanket. your socks on. Get yourself as comfortable as you can be so there's no distractions externally or within yourself. When you do find that position, once again, lick the lips, swallow the saliva in the mouth, so then you can slightly part your teeth, soften through the lips, and let the tongue rest in the middle of your mouth softly. Scanning your body from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes. Tips of the toes back up to the crown of the head. And whatever you become aware of, whatever muscles are engaged or tight, just simply letting it go. Creating space there, creating a sense of calm. I'll bring you back when it's time. And gently begin to bring awareness back into your body by deepening your breath. And then when you're ready, to gently wiggle the fingertips and the toes, circling out the ankles and the wrists. Finding a full body stretch, reaching the arms above the head, maybe if there's a yawn there, even better. Before rolling onto the right side of the body to rest. There's no rush to bring yourself up toward a comfortable seated. And you're just going to find a comfortable position. Arms can be wherever they're most comfortable. They could be on the knees, in the lap, in prayer. Without using any kind of meditation or breathing technique. Just simply observe, compare where you were in the beginning of class to where you are now. Notice what kind of thoughts start to flood in. If you need to take some time to organize your thoughts, rearrange them, categorize, maybe take that time before you begin and continue the rest of your day. So let's take just 3 more breaths with one another. Palms to prayer in front of the heart. Namaste. Take your time, everyone. So we've got 2 more weeks to go until April 21st, but there will be some stuff coming up in May for probably about 6 to 8 weeks. So just be mindful of that and maybe jot that down. More information will come in the next 2 weeks. But have an amazing day. If you are in Calgary, enjoy the sunshine today, and we'll see everybody next week.